Hello, you're kicking off the Wednesday's edition of QPVN Election News Bulletin with Milingji and some deadlines. Vietnam marks success in clearing dilapidated houses. Cuba hosts ceremony to celebrate Vietnam's 80th National Day. 80 years of Vietnam's diplomacy for peace and development. On August 26 in Hanoi, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, head of the Central Steering Committee for the nationwide program to eliminate temporary and dilapidated houses, chaired a national online conference in Hanoi to review the implementation and achievements of the immolation campaign. The entire nation united to eliminate temporary and dilapidated houses. The event was attended by senior leaders of the party, state, military, state agencies and officials from 34 provinces and cities via virtual conferencing. As of August 18th, all 34 localities basically completed their targets. Across the country, more than 334,234 houses have been built or renovated, with nearly $24,800 billion, approximately $1 billion. Beneficiaries include natural contributors, poor and near-poor households. Remarkably, the program was completed 5 years and 4 months ahead of schedule, as initially set in Resolution Number 42. On August 19th, the program was officially recognized as one of the 215 major projects in celebration of the 80th anniversary of the National Day of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, September 2nd. This milestone reflects the leadership of the party, the effective governance of the government, and the unity and effort of the entire political system and the people. Speaking at the event, Senior Lieutenant General Nguyễn Quang Ngọc, Deputy Minister of National Defense, highlighted the contributions of the military. From November 2023 to July 2025, the armed forces supported the construction and repair of over 35,000 houses, contributing over 2 trillion Vietnam đồng, mobilizing more than 140,000 officers, soldiers, and military service members, and providing 415,000 workdays and 3,000 vehicles and equipment units. In his closing remarks, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính praised the program's success and urged military sectors and localities to build on the momentum by continuing to improve social welfare policies. He called for the timely finalization of housing support mechanisms, enhanced policy oversight and public engagement, and close attention to the needs and concerns of the people, ensuring that their voices are heard and their rights are protected. On August 26 in Hanoi, the Central Steering Committee for the commemoration of major national holidays and key events 2023-2025 officially inaugurated the National Press Center and launched a special edition commemorative portrait stamp to mark the 80th anniversary of the National Day of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, September 2nd, 1945-2025.
Attending the inauguration ceremony was Comrade Nguyễn Trọng Nghĩa, head of the Central Commission for Information, Education and Mass Mobilization. The press center, located at the National Assembly House in historic Ba Đình Square, holds special significance. Its establishment provides professional, convenient working conditions for nearly 1,500 journalists and editors, both domestic and international, covering commemorative activities and major national events. As part of the program, the special release ceremony for the postage stamp titled 80th Anniversary of the National Day of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam was also held.
On August 26, General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army and Deputy Defense Minister, led a working delegation to inspect the combat readiness of agencies and units tasked with safeguarding events marking the 80th anniversary of the August Revolution and National Day. To ensure the security and safety of the celebration, relevant units have conducted field reconnaissance to determine optimal deployment sites for troops and equipment. Strict combat readiness protocols are being maintained, with forces and assets prepared to respond swiftly and effectively to any potential incident. Communications are kept uninterrupted by close coordination with security and public order forces, ensures timely situational awareness and political stability. Logistics support has been thoroughly planned to meet the needs of participants and the public during the parade and other commemorative activities. General Nguyễn Tân Cường emphasized that forward command posts and military units must rigorously maintain watch duties, closely monitor crowded areas, stay updated on developments, and promptly report to higher authorities to handle any arising situations. On August the 25th, the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Cuba held a solemn ceremony at the Palace of the Revolution in Havana to celebrate the 80th anniversary of Vietnam's National Day, showcasing the Caribbean nation's special sentiment for Vietnam. The event was attended by First Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Cuba and President Miguel Diaz-Canel Muñoz, Prime Minister Manuel Marrero Cruz, Minister of the Revolutionary Armed Forces General Alvaro Lopez Miera, senior Cuban officials, foreign diplomats, and representatives of the Vietnamese community in Cuba. In his remarks, Cuban Foreign Minister recounted September 2, 1945, as the beginning of Vietnam's victorious journey from the triumph at Điện Biên Phủ to national reunification, the achievements of Đổi Mới and Vietnam's confident advance into a new era of development. He noted that the spirit of the shared destiny was expressed by Fidel Castro's 1966 declaration at Havana's Revolution Square. For Vietnam, we are willing to give our blood. He described the strong response of the Vietnamese people to the Vietnam Red Cross Society's initiatives in support of Cuba as profoundly moving, reflecting the principle affirmed by Vietnamese leaders. Solidarity with Cuba is the command of the heart. We're calling it a noble gesture that reflects the true brotherhood between the two nations. For his part, Vietnamese ambassador to Cuba Lê Quang Long highlighted the historic significance of the August Revolution and Vietnam's declaration of independence on September 2, 1945, marking the dawn of national liberation not only in Vietnam but across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. He affirmed that under the party's leadership, Vietnam has overcome immense challenges to achieve remarkable socio-economic progress and greater international stature. The ambassador emphasized that the special friendship with Cuba remains a steadfast pillar and a living symbol of a genuine international solidarity, and pledged Vietnam's commitment to further strengthening this invaluable bond for generations to come. On August 26, during its official visit to Indonesia, the Vietnam Coast Guard delegation paid a cursory call on the Indonesian Coast Guard leaders and co-chaired a bilateral meeting. Welcoming the delegation, Vice Admiral Iran Siar, commander of the Indonesian Coast Guard, affirmed that the visit would further enhance cooperation between the two forces and deepen the friendship between the two nations. Both sides reviewed achievements under the 2021 Memorandum of Understanding, including information sharing, maritime incident response, search and rescue, and law enforcement support in 2024. At the bilateral meeting, co-chaired by Major General Ngô Bình Minh and Rear Admiral Bakamla Didong Priyoduta Pugwa Kunjoro, Double Chief of Policy and Strategy of the Indonesian Coast Guard, both sides agree on several areas of cooperation for 2026. These include continued implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding, maintaining ship visits, exchanges training, and joint exercises, as well as sharing information and experience in law enforcement and maritime search and rescue. The Vietnamese delegation also enjoyed sports and cultural exchanges, further reinforcing friendship and solidarity between the two Coast Guard forces. Coming up next, how Breakfast Vietnam 2025 opens in Da Nang. 80 years of Vietnam's diplomacy for peace and development. On August 26th, Breakfast Vietnam 2025 officially opened at the Arizona International Convention Center in Da Nang, kicking off the country's largest event in the hospitality, restaurant, coffee, and catering, or HORECA for short sector. The two-day event features more than 55 in-depth sections and a specialized technology showcase. Co-hosted by Horrifax Vietnam and Vietnam Hotel Association, the event brings together over 3,500 delegates, including central and local government officials, international experts, business leaders, associations, and investors in tourism and hospitality. It aims to connect policymakers, enterprises, and global specialists to enhance competitiveness, accelerate digital transformation, and foster sustainable growth for Vietnam's tourism and hospitality sector amid rapid integration and innovation. This year's program gathers over 500 domestic and international companies and 90 speakers from 20 countries. Discussion focuses on the three pillars of digital transformation in management and operations, sustainable tourism with social responsibility, and redefining customer experience. After the August Revolution succeeded on August 20th, 1945, President Ho Chi Minh signed a decree establishing the provisional government of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, which included the decision to establish the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, marking the birth of modern Vietnamese diplomacy. Vietnamese diplomacy had the great honor of being directly guided and led by President Ho Chi Minh, who also served as the First Minister of Foreign Affairs of New Vietnam. Over the past 80 years of building and growing under the leadership of the party and President Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam's diplomacy has always upheld the spirit of serving the fatherland and people while building peace and development for the country. We're speaking about the role of Vietnamese diplomacy in the struggle for the country's peace, independence, and freedom. We cannot fail to mention the historic victory of the Paris Peace Accords. This document demonstrated that military victories on the battlefield laid the foundation and confidence for success at the negotiating table, opening a new chapter for peace and national reunification. At the 13th plenum of the Party Central Committee on January 1967, the Communist Party of Vietnam affirmed that military and political struggles in the South were the decisive fighters to the victory on the battlefield, forming the basis for victory on the diplomatic front. Therefore, diplomacy was elevated to a battlefield in collaboration with political and military fronts. The diplomatic struggle at that time was extremely intense. At the negotiating table, Lady Tho and Henry Kissinger confronted each other in heated debates. It was truly a fierce battle of intellects. Finally, we prevailed. Without the Paris Peace Accords, the national resistance war in Vietnam could not have ended on April 30th, 1975. Vietnam might still will finally, but with far greater sacrifices and bloodshed. Our allies were found even within the heart of the enemy. The Vietnam fought not only with its own strength, but also with the progressive process around the world, including citizens of the very countries waging war against Vietnam. There was such a mode of struggle in which diplomacy played a crucial, even decisive role. In the post-war period, Vietnam's diplomacy continued to serve as a pioneering force, raising high the banner of peace, cooperation, and development. In the context of isolation and embargo, the diplomatic sector took the initiative to break the ice, gradually reintegrating Vietnam into the international community. Nowadays, Vietnam has established diplomatic relations with 194 countries while managing strategic partnerships and comprehensive partnerships with 38 countries and serving as an active member in more than 70 international organizations. Remarkably, Vietnam now maintains economic and trade relations with over 230 countries and territories and has signed and implemented 17 free trade agreements. In contribution to the proud accomplishments that have elevated Vietnam into the group of 32 leading economies in terms of GDP size and into the top 20 global economies in terms of trade scale and foreign investment attraction, economic diplomacy has played a key role. Vietnam has become increasingly confident in promoting multilateralism and has moved on to establishing strategic and now comprehensive strategic partnerships. At the same time, Vietnam has gradually taken on a greater role in international mechanisms. The successes of Vietnam's diplomacy over the past 80 years demonstrate its enduring role in fostering peace, cooperation, and development across all historical stages, helping Vietnam emerge as a prosperous and peaceful country. This new period of development, diplomacy remains the key for Vietnam to realize its aspirations of becoming a sustainable and dynamic destination and a comprehensive and trusted partner of the international community.
It is the end of the English news bulletin today. You can watch the news again at CUBA.vn, and goodbye and see you next time.